Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a new Bleach Manga 518 prediction. And I apologize for this late night review coming up, guys, or I guess you could say slash morning, because right now while I'm recording this, it is 1 in the morning. And I just wanted to let you guys know, last week I know you guys were looking for the prediction, and I didn't actually do the prediction until a few days later. I tried to upload the prediction, and for some reason, I have no idea why, like, I tried to upload it numerous times and it wouldn't upload right. So I know a lot of you guys last week were looking forward to the prediction or my thoughts on last week's chapter, and I know you want to know this week's chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, of course, my thoughts on last week's chapter, and I'm going to tell you this week's chapter, my thoughts, and what I think is going to happen in the next week's chapter. So starting off, of course, I loved seeing Cone last week. Like, Cone making an appearance obviously made my day, because Cone is probably one of the things that I love or loved most about Bleach is just his comedy. I mean, to me, out of the big three, Cone has like, it's probably the only one to actually really make me laugh like hard. In fact, Cone is probably one of the many reasons I got into Bleach. So I am glad that Cone did show up in the previous chapter of Bleach prior to this week's chapter, of course. Now, Cone isn't really that important overall to what's been going on lately, but I had to go ahead, of course, and throw that in there, that I am glad that Cone's back. Hopefully he'll make numerous more appearances, and not only make numerous appearances, but I also kind of want to know why he ended up in Soul Society. Also, of course, we got the whole information about Ichigo and his Bankai, and found out a little bit of as far as like what happens when Bankais break, and find out that when Bankais break, they don't really necessarily fix just like Shikais do normally, and that there's only been a select few cases such as Komamura where his is able to fix itself, versus a lot of other people when their Bankais are getting broken down, of course they don't fix themselves basically, and we learn that they actually get weaker. Ikaku's Bankai is a lot weaker. So we got more information on those characters and their Bankais, and we found out in general about, you know, what happens to a Bankai. So we know Ichigo, of course, has to figure out how to fix his Bankai now. You know, that doesn't really seem like that's going to be much of a problem, seeing as how this week's chapter we saw the Royal Guard actually fix the, or they didn't fix it, but they had Ichigo's Tensa Zangetsu, so they're probably obviously going to do something to that. But, you know, hold on, guys. I know you guys probably want to get my thoughts on the Royal Guard, but I'm getting to it. But overall, I mean, we finally learned a little bit more about, you know, the Bankais. I'm thinking that Ichigo's Quincy powers obviously are going to play a role in him actually fixing his Bankai. At least that's what I'm hoping that's going to be the case. You know, I mean, the Royal Guard now making an appearance, you know, and them having his Tensa Zangetsu, they may be the ones to fix it. But, you know, I mean, him having his Quincy powers, I actually feel like is a great way for him to fix his Bankai, because as we all know, Quincy's can manipulate Reishi, they can control it, and, you know, they can make makeshift weapons out of it. So I couldn't see why maybe he couldn't learn how to manipulate Reishi and eventually end up being able to maybe somehow glue his Zanpakuto back together somehow, you know, or something of that sort. So I mean, I think it's a good possibility that he also may fix Tensa Zangetsu through usage of Quincy powers as well. And not only that, but probably one of the other bigger things that I think that could be a way where he fixes his Zanpakuto is maybe taking it to Orihime, which obviously has the time-space regression move, which she can turn back time, which means she would be able to fix his Zanpakuto. Although, for plot reasons, I don't think it's as likely, but, you know, there's still a possibility that he could do that. You know, now, as for the end of last week's chapter, we saw the Royal Guard, of course, walk up. Shunsui was talking about them, talking about the Palace of the King. And when they walked up and we saw their appearances, obviously, at first, you know, they were a bit shocking. I know a lot of people out there it wasn't really what they were expecting. I was talking to Ryu Itachi. He didn't really particularly like it too much. And I know me personally, when I looked at it, you know, only a few of the captains looked appealing to me, like looked like they actually looked like the real deal. And I was a tad disappointed, but not like a whole bunch. You know, I guess I was just interested in seeing more what they could do and learn more about the Royal Guard. Although, of course, in this week's chapter, you know, they looked a lot better to me. Like when we saw the color page of the different Royal Guard members, I'm kind of forgetting their names. I got to get used to it. I know we only got introduced to a few this week, but we saw, of course, you know, the guy with the beads standing in the middle of the color page. You know, we saw this one guy that has this crazy smile on his face with these glasses and this weird hair. You know, honestly, I can't get into his character design. I don't really particularly like it. So I don't know. Like, I mean, he seems. I mean, he may be an interesting character, but you know, we have to see about him. I really like the guy with the swirly hair. Like in this week's chapter, who? I mean, you honestly, you got to give him points for the fact that you know he's just running stuff, making these captains seem like they're nothing. Like the fact that he put Soifon in her place, I have to give him props because Soifon always, always sits up there and runs her mouth and never shuts up. And I'm glad that he actually put her in her place. But one thing that I actually took notice of in this week's chapter with that particular dude is the fact that he's even faster than Soifon, which actually is a pretty big statement considering that I think Soifon is actually kind of close to Yoruichi's speed. I mean, Yoruichi's always been faster, of course, but Soifon's one of the best Shunpo users around, so the fact that he's faster than her is pretty big. Not only that, but we also find out that that he also taught Unohana how to use a lot of her healing techniques. So this guy right now is seeming pretty boss, not just in personality and how he seems to be running things between all the captains and how, you know, he seems a little bit bossy and he's letting them know he's the real deal. But, you know, even in the things that he knows, it's in the things that he's been able to do so far, really seems that he's really living up to the hype so far as a Royal Guard member. Now, of course, we saw Kiro Hikifune. She knew Hiyori or whatever. We saw her have a little conversation with Shinji, a little comedy here or there. You know, it's a little bit funny with their interaction. Obviously, Shinji's one of my favorite characters. In fact, my favorite character of all time. So, you know, I always love seeing Shinji in a chapter interacting with somebody. Also, one of the other major things, of course, is seeing, I can't remember her name, but we see one of the other Royal Guard members, the other female, where she has these different hands that somehow, I guess you could say, are able to reach or teleport different objects from different places or even different people. And the reason why I say teleport or, you know, I guess retrieve objects is because we see that she was able to somehow get a hold of Renji, Rukia, and Byakuya. And not only that, but she was also able to even get Tensa Zangetsu from Miyuri's lab. And we know that the Royal Guard obviously are down here for probably more than one reason. Obviously, the guy with the swirly hair, he noted to Soifon that, you know, that they protect the Spirit King and they, you know, the Goatee 13 protects the Soul Society. And they're basically here on a mission. They're just trying to fix things up. That's actually why Soifon got mad, because she's wondering, why are you showing up here now? But honestly, like, you know, I mean, it seems like the more of their mission has to do with Ichigo, considering the fact that they walk right up to Ichigo and basically tell him that he has to come with them. Now, one thing I have to say about that is, and this is the question I have overall in Bleach, why does everybody just know Ichigo Kurosaki? Like, I can understand if you knew, like, okay, you sensed some type of spiritual pressure and, you know, it seemed familiar or was strong and maybe you wanted to go check it out and see what was going on. But everybody seems to know Ichigo by name. And not only by name, but they, you know, seem to know something about him. I mean, the Royal Guard I don't know if they have any, like, real knowledge on Ichigo necessarily just yet. But I'm pretty sure they do, considering the fact that they want him to come to the Spirit King's palace. Now, coming to the Spirit King's palace obviously is going to be pretty exciting. I can't wait till they actually get there. I don't know if we're going to see the Spirit King right off rip, but if we do, I'll be happy to see it. We'll actually get to see what this thing is, like Aizen said, because we know Aizen referred to the Spirit King as a thing. And I want to find out, of course, you know, what the Spirit King's all about. What does the Spirit King actually care about? And maybe we'll actually get that in the next few weeks. Maybe Kubo will start venturing into that, and we'll find out, you know, why the Spirit King actually wanted Ichigo to come with the Royal Guard all the way to the Royal Palace. Now, you know, I have to say that these Royal Guard members don't really seem to have a lot of respect for the Goatee 13. I mean, you just see them refer to them as little fledglings when they come. I mean, I understand the Royal Guard is powerful, but I mean, dang, like, I don't know, like, some of the captains right now are just seeming like nothing. I mean, Unohana, before, she seemed like, oh, she's, you know, one of the most respected captains. She's probably up there at Yamato level. I mean, around some of these Royal Guard members, you're wondering, like, man, she seems like she's like a little, like, lieutenant or, like, seated officer to them. Not even that, like, almost like a grunt. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of like, I kind of think that, makes the Royal Guard, like, it makes me even more excited to actually see them in combat at some point because of how much they seem to be getting hyped up at this point. So definitely, though, overall, this week's chapter was good. At the end of the chapter, of course, we heard some type of voice of course, somebody talking to all of them and talking to Ichigo. And I'm assuming, I don't think it's Grimjo at this point. It may actually be like, I've seen a couple other people say maybe Ishin. And I do think there's a possibility that it could be Ishin because I doubt that Grimjo will be getting all friendly with the Royal Guard and, talking to them all calmly. So, it may be someone else. May even be a character we never seen before. Who knows? I mean, I doubt it's a character we never seen before, but, there's always that chance. If it is Grimjo, of course, I'll be happy. But next week's chapter, I kind of see us just flowing into Ichigo heading to the palace. I mean, we may end up flashing over, see who actually was in Hueco obviously, see who's on the other end, see what's going on with them. Ichigo probably will start heading, to the Royal Palace maybe towards the end of the chapter. They'll finally be on their way and reach it, and we'll finally maybe see like a big panel of what the Royal Palace looks like, which will be nice if, we actually get that next week and maybe not like a bunch of chapters from now, which it seems to be heading that way. So I'm assuming that's what we're going to get. As for Juha and them, we may even get a flash over to them, but, kind of doubt it for right now, only because, we've had this big epic battle with them, and it seems like right now Kubo's trying to focus on Ichigo, what's going on. As for good things in the chapter overall and positive things in this week's chapter to me had a pretty positive flow. Things seem to be going pretty smoothly. We got introduced to a few of the Royal Guard members, although one of them was kind of left out. We finally seen that, what the Royal Guard's real purpose was coming here. They may even be coming here, I'm assuming, maybe to possibly even train Ichigo. There's a good possibility that maybe they want to prepare him for this war, get him stronger, teach him some Kido, teach him to actually use Genzen more or something so that he can learn something other than Getsuga Tensho. But, that's a whole other story. But obviously, if, the Royal Guard spends time with Ichigo and they train Ichigo, obviously he'll probably reach the transcendent levels that he reached once before. So there is a good possibility of that, and maybe they'll even be able to enlighten more history to Ichigo at this current time, which may have been why they made an appearance now, because Juha is already started showing signs to Ichigo, hey, this is what you are. And so maybe they actually want to be the first ones to actually truly tell Ichigo what's been going on with him. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different theories you could throw out there as far as, why the Royal Guard's here and why they're trying to get Ichigo, but definitely look forward to next week's chapter. I'm hoping that, the flow is pretty nice. Hopefully, it's probably, like, next week's chapter is probably going to just be straight down to the point, head to the palace, see who's on the other end, finally see who the mystery person was. Hopefully it is Grimjo rather than, like, Ishin or something, only because Ishin wouldn't really be as much of a surprise. Although, if it is Ishin, then it probably means he knows the Royal Guard, which means he probably was in the Royal Guard, which would make sense. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to rate this video. So if you liked it, please put a thumbs up. And if you didn't like this video, then you can feel free to put a thumbs down. Also, don't forget to put your predictions down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content, you like Bleach videos, and you would like to see more. Also, one more thing I want to note is that a special video should be coming out in the next few days, actually, and a lot of you guys will love it. If you love videos that have to do with Bleach, of course, and you like my channel, you like the Elite Aces channel, then you should be looking forward to seeing this video that will either come out tomorrow or maybe Thanksgiving. But overall, guys, have a great Thanksgiving and have an awesome day altogether. See you later.